Everybody, time for the digital marketing news this week. Some really big stuff. The first story is actually pretty crazy. Let's dive into it. So number one, Instagram is going to start removing like counts in the US. So Adam Mosseri announced the changes at Wired 25, a conference in San Francisco last week. So here's how it's going to work. Account owners can still view the number of likes on their own posts, but they can't view the number of likes on other posts. I actually think this is going to be a really good thing. Forget the likes, right, and the number that people have. It's going to be better for society, but it's going to be bad for influencers who really rely on this type of stuff so that they can monetize their profile. Next thing, Chrome might warn users about slow pages. So page speed, I actually think that page speed might have been part of the recent Google update. I'm going to talk about the Google update next, but there's a Google update that went out. And now at the same time, Chrome, the browser, is saying that they might warn people about slow pages. Google, search engines in general, they're really focused on slow pages. So basically they say that we think the web can do better and want to help users understand when a site may load slowly, while rewarding sites delivering fast experiences. So this may take a number of forms as we plan to experiment with different options to determine which provides the most value to users. So says Google. So they're going to warn people about slow pages. Really need to focus on page speed quite a bit. I've got a great new framework that gets sites super fast. Really excited about it. So also, as I just mentioned, there's a Google update that's been rolling out, and this is just one of those huge updates. I've seen websites that have dropped 30 to 40% in their website traffic overnight. So diving into this one pretty deep, I did an article specifically on it that you can check out on the Ignite website, but it looks like recipe bloggers or just general kind of content marketers, some who are doing affiliate type of stuff, were hit really hard. Most people who were hit more on the content side, 30%-ish drops, and I'll be reporting on that much more. Next thing, Google is expanding shopping ads to 50 new markets, so that's exciting. And to support the new markets, Google Ads is rolling out a couple new features as well. So they're rolling out multi-country feeds, and what this does is this enables you to target multiple countries that share the same language, and then automated feeds. And this allows Google Merchant Center to crawl your site and get product info from structured data. So they can create it with that, and that could be a huge time saver for marketers, right? And then also additionally, Merchant Center is now offering more insights, easier navigation, and user-friendly workflows. So more going on there. Next, Google introduced new extensions for YouTube ads. So YouTube ads are getting new extensions, and they're similar to the extensions for standard Google ads. And an example would be these YouTube ad extensions allow users to submit lead generation forms, get directions to a physical store location, and follow other calls to action. This is a big deal. YouTube ads, they're really inexpensive right now. There's a ton of inventory there. So trying to find, and use these new extensions so that we can better increase the cost per acquisition metrics for local businesses and just businesses in general, and YouTube is a really big deal because cost per acquisition on YouTube, it's very high when you look at it compared to the other channels. So these new extensions should be really helpful. They're trying to find ways to get people from that native environment to a conversion. Next, Google says don't use robots.txt, which is a file on a website, right? If you don't know what robots.txt is, it's at example.com/robots.txt. It's a way that you can tell Google you can crawl your site or not crawl your website, as well as tell other search engines. But what they say is don't use robots.txt to block indexing of URLs with parameters. So they don't want you to do that. And according to John Mueller, you will lose all the value from the links to those pages if you do it that way. Specifically, he says, don't use robots.txt to block indexing of URL parameters. If you do that, we can't canonicalize the URLs, and you'll lose all the value from links to those pages. Use rel canonical, link cleanly internally, etc. All right, next thing, Google. They say setting a geographic target won't prevent your site from showing in other locations. So inside of Google Search Console, you can say, I just want to show up in the United States. My website is for Canada or it's for the United States. But if you do that, you can still show up in all these other countries. So if you want to block your website from other countries, you need to detect where the user is coming from and then block them that way. Next, Google says it's bad if your robots.txt and sitemap file ranks. Basically, what they're saying is that there's an underlying issue with the website if that's the case. So John Mueller tweeted, if your robots.txt or sitemap file is ranking for normal queries, that's usually a sign that your site is off, is really bad off and should be improved instead. Just basically like those things just shouldn't be ranking at all. So you can block the robots.txt file using an xrobots tag HTTP header. So that means in the header of your website, you can deliver this thing called an xrobots tag. It's a browser-based thing, and you can block those things that way. That's what they're saying. Kind of geeky SEO stuff. Last thing, Gary Ives says that he has gone and talked to SEO spammers. And he is going and flying to India and talking to them and trying to get them motivated not to do black hat SEO. I want to tell you guys something. I've seen a lot of people on the SEO side right now. They're just really, they want more links. And so some of these other agencies, not ours, are giving it to them. I'm seeing them all get penalties, like literally get kicked out of Google. So don't get caught up in this I want more links game. Do it right? Build a good foundation. You don't want to get a penalty. Other than that, the last thing I want to note before I get into homework, measurement. It's end of year right now. Measurement is super important. I want everybody to be thinking about what are the channels that are coming to the website. Inside of each channel, what are the sources? When they're coming in, is the amount of traffic, your conversion rate? Where are they hitting the website? What's that landing page conversion rate? Thinking of these things, looking at it year over year, seeing how you've scaled and how you can use that to scale more next year, right? For the first time, we're seeing so many different ways to drive traffic, right? Push notifications, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google Ads, Bing, all these different sources, and using that to build your model into next year. Now's the time to lay in that right digital marketing framework and get it in place to scale. So what's your homework for this week, okay? Make sure that your sitemap and robots.txt file are not ranking for search terms in the search results. You can go to SEMrush and put in that URL and see if there's any keywords it shows up for. That would be one way to do it. If you become too reliant on Google Discover, Google is saying don't build a business around Google Discover because it could go away any day. So don't get too reliant on that. Make sure you've got a good diversified portfolio of traffic. If you're using robots.txt to block URL parameters, don't do that. I think you should check out those new YouTube ad extensions. They look pretty cool, and you can get a full list of those on the Ignite Visibility website. If you're running shopping ads, take a look at those 50 new countries that you can go into and those 2 new features that they came out with. And then if your website is slow, I highly recommend you work on that. If you need help with that, I'd be happy to help you. We do a great job of that here. That's it for the digital marketing news this week. See you next time. Have a great day.